All right, so let's go ahead. Hopefully everyone online can hear me. I'm just going to double check and make sure I have the right mic. We're good. Okay, so without further ado, I honestly might stand. It kind of feels nice. We're just going to go ahead and we're going to roll through orientation or KWB Keys to Success. And that's really going to cover this KWB resources website so that everyone can feel as comfortable and confident as possible when trying to find those resources because there's a lot more on this site than I think meets the eye. So sometimes it can feel a little confusing, and sometimes it's just easier to have the ropes shown to you right away more than anything else. Minimize that. All right. So what we're going to do when you do arrive, again, this is kwbresources.com. And Trinity, I did just tell Paige in person, if you have any questions along the way, you're welcome to unmute yourself or drop them in the chat. I don't want you to feel like you guys, either of you have to wait until the end to ask any questions. You may ask them as they're relevant because sometimes it's hard to remember your questions by the end. So let me know how I can stop and help out. And if I talk too fast at any point, please tell me and I'll try and slow down for you. I feel like this is not aiming at me because now I'm standing. Okay. The first thing we're going to do at kwbresources.com is we're going to go to this new agent tab. You're welcome. So on this new agent tab, this is basically the reason we have this is obviously this is going to be some information that's more helpful to you when you're first getting started. So on the left-hand side here under getting started, if you hit learn more, this is going to take you to our onboarding checklist. So essentially, this is going to show you and showcase these steps in your onboarding process, which most of you usually are all the way through by the time you're sitting through orientation or KWB Keys to Success. Sometimes we're in the midst of it, like Trinity, I know you're in the midst. Paige, you actually just finished everything up. So what you'll see here is just kind of highlighting what you can expect as part of that process, whether it's what's going to be asked up front, or if it's information you can expect to be receiving, who you can expect to hear from, by what time. But the very bottom here is always relevant no matter what step of the process you're in. So I like to always cover those things you can begin to do immediately. The first is obviously getting very comfortable and familiar using this website. We're also going to take a look at the office training calendar together. So we'll go ahead and navigate to that here throughout the training today. Joining Ignite. So if you guys are not already in Ignite, that's another phenomenal resource. We always joke and we say that Ignite is everything you probably thought you were going to learn in real estate school, but you didn't. And that's okay. A lot of real estate school highlights that more legal stuff and it's more how to stay out of jail than anything else. So we want to make sure that you guys are also understanding those day-to-day tasks and responsibilities and really just what you can expect with your career and how you can become successful in it. So we'll talk a little bit more about Ignite when we get to the training calendar. We've also got 2 key Facebook pages that we always encourage you guys to join. So I will share those when we navigate further throughout today. Attending office meetings, which orientation or KWB Keys to Success is one of them. So thank you for being here, both of you. And then the last thing is registering your car with Torrington Preferred Parking, which thankfully is something you guys don't have to do anymore because we're about to move. So we are going to our new office space. I will actually say that out loud. I know Trinity, we just talked about this, but we're going to be in our new office space starting on Monday. So that address is pretty publicized everywhere, I think, at this point. But if you don't have it and you realize you need it, just send me a quick email. I'll send that over to you so you just have it handy and you know that you're going to the right place. But as of Monday, that is officially where we'll be, and we could not be more excited. I will be honest, I don't think that they have preferred or required parking permits or anything over there at all. I think it is just free parking. So if I find out otherwise, of course, we will make an announcement to the agent body. But for right now, plan on the fact that you can just park freely for now. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Hmm. Uh-huh. I want to say yes. I may connect you with Tasha. The question was when working with Canopy or NAR and they're asking for the office address and where you are basically, what address we should be using at this point. I know Sabre just submitted something to the commission to notify them of the change of address. I'm not sure though if you would need to do one versus the other. I'd like to think it's the new one, but I'm going to connect you with Tasha anyways for some of your questions. That was going to be one that would be good for Tasha as well. Yeah. So our phone number shouldn't be changing. If it's the firm phone number. Oh, okay. Okay. So let's I would double check with Tasha again because she'll be able to give more indication when it comes to the NAR and canopy information. Assuming it is referring to the firm office number, that will not change based off of our location. So if that is what it's referring to versus your personal phone number, that would be that number won't change. So you can use what's going to be here as well, but we'll kind of continue through. And again, when I get to Tasha's information, it's not necessarily going to display her phone number, so I might send you that separately. She's been having issues with her email, but we'll talk about that as we go. So the other thing I will say before we kind of move any further in this, there are multiple ways to pull to the same information on this website. I do my best as well as I can to show you guys the most convenient ways, just so that you're not trying to remember like crazy, crazy steps to get to something. So if you see me bypass something in any point in time, it's because I'm trying to show you an easier way. So the first thing, after we have talked about our getting started, on the right-hand side here under basic training, you were to select the learn more button. This is actually going to take you to Scott Leroy Marketing's website. Scott Leroy Marketing, for those of you who don't know, is who already did complete your KW technology setup or will be creating your KW technology setup. So you guys will then be able to go ahead. They're not only responsible for helping you with the initial setup, but they're also going to be really, really helpful moving forward as well as a resource anytime you guys are trying to learn any additional information or maybe get some troubleshooting as well in there. So I just want to make sure you guys know that their help does not end as soon as you get your tech setup back. They're here to stay as our partner with us. So please feel free to utilize them as a great resource. The first thing here, and only because we arrived to it on the website, I like to highlight a couple things here. There's plenty more on this site. You probably could spend a good bit of time on it, but out of respect for your time, we're going to go quickly through it and just highlight a few. The first thing you see here is this search feature. And if anyone was interested in ever creating a QR code for a business card or maybe for a marketing piece, anything like that, you don't know how to do it, that's absolutely understandable. It's not always clear cut, but Scott Leroy Marketing actually has a form that you guys can fill out. It's very easy. If you just search QR code, it will open up to that form. And what you do is you fill in my info. You say, here's who I am. This is the market center I'm with. Here's the link I'm trying to create a QR code for. And then they'll send that back to you usually within about an hour. So it's very helpful. It's free for you guys. So it's just another tool in your tool belt when talking more about that print marketing or digital marketing. So it's free. Yeah, it's free. Yep. Through our partnership with Scott Leroy Marketing, you guys will realize a lot of stuff is going to be free, which is awesome. The other thing I like to share with you guys is under this agent resources button at the very top of the page. It's normally a drop down menu. They did some changes recently. The first thing you'll see when you click on that button is it's now asking you for our market center number. Now our market center number is 350. You've probably seen that number several times before. You'll see it several more times as well. 350 is our market center number. And once you've logged in, here we go. It will show you their training calendar. So if you guys, well, actually, what you need to do is you need to now go up, sorry, to the drop down menu and then pull up the training calendar. But once you guys see training calendar, you can select it. This will take you to their live training calendar. So as I was mentioning, they do offer some great resource for you guys. There are opportunities to jump on live trainings with the Scott Leroy Marketing team regarding your KW technology. So they are also KW tech experts and they are here to assist you. The reason I really like to show this is I know not everyone's schedule looks the same. So if, for example, maybe Tuesday afternoons were really tight for you and you just couldn't make it because you're picking up kiddos, you've got classes, you've got work, anything of the sort, we don't want you to feel limited by that for any reason. We do have this calendar access as well through Scott Leroy Marketing. You guys can jump onto a call 1 to 2 o'clock Monday through Friday with Scott Leroy Marketing. And they're touching on all different topics, whether it's just the basics of command, just the basics of DocuSign, or something more specific. Like sometimes they're targeting Facebook ads. They're talking about how to farm neighborhoods. They're sharing a lot of great information here. And it's as simple as just clicking on the event so you can see what the topic will be. And then you can use that Zoom link to jump onto that live call at any point in time. The reason that I also share this is because while there are obviously videos out there that you guys can watch, sometimes it is well, actually, I think all the time, but some people will argue that sometimes it is more beneficial to just be participating in live trainings more so than anything because you'll have the opportunity to get those questions answered in real time because we don't ever want anyone to kind of sit there and be like, yeah, I think I get it, but I'm not quite sure. So we want you to have that opportunity to voice your questions so that you can get some more clarity on those as you are hearing the discussion. So this is going to be a great tool for anybody who maybe has a more complex schedule or maybe just wants to be able to focus on specific topics at certain points in time. Maybe Jules and Leah just talked about DocuSign last week and you missed it. You just want to get a little bit more insight on that, but looks like Scott Leroy Marketing is doing a class tomorrow on it. You can easily supplement your tech training with some of what they have to offer here. No, I think you actually can just jump straight on it, but if you click on the link, it'll let you, yeah. So you should be able to just jump straight onto it when it's live. And then the next thing I like to share with you guys on Scott Leroy Marketing's website, and the last thing really, is this store button. So if you click on store, this will take you to agentstore.com. Bless you. You're fine. Don't ever apologize for sneezing. It's okay. But once you open, once you open up to agentstore.com, this is actually going to show you all of basically through our partnership with Scott Leroy Marketing, you guys have access to some pre-done KW templates for business cards, for name tags, anything of the sort. So this is an opportunity for you guys to create something quickly and easily using your new information so that you guys can begin farming those neighborhoods and sharing that information with other people in your sphere or out in the real world, whatever that looks like. We want you to know that this exists though, because it's so easy to just plug and play with your information. There's several different templates to choose from, but they make it that simple. You just drop in your information and you are good to go. So they also offer a very competitive price point, which is another reason I like to talk about them. I've ordered business cards through them myself, and I got 500 of them, and they were only $39. So very reasonable. Obviously, if you are a far more creative individual and you're so excited to really emphasize your brand and create something beautiful for your brand, you can, of course, make something custom that's non existent in this website through Canva or Vistaprint or similar websites. If you decide to go that route, though, I always encourage you guys, you will need to go check with Sabra or Tasha, typically speaking Tasha, which we'll get to that later. But Tasha, our broker in charge associate. She is going to be able to give you the thumbs up on that and say, yes, you have everything on there you need to. No, you're not missing anything that you can't have on there or things of that nature. So that is an opportunity because the biggest thing is you never want to print something and find out you can't use it. That's horrible. So make sure that you're referencing Tasha or Sabra as part of that process. They are the ones who have the authority to give you the green light and tell you your design is good to go. Even if it is one of these templates, I would absolutely still suggest talking to her, making sure that your particular business card is in compliance. You don't want to find out the hard way that it's not. And especially if you guys are provisional broker status, which is typical for a brand newly licensed agent, your provisional broker status, you guys are actually required to get that approval from Tasha. So just make sure that you kept that in mind. When you've got that design ready, you can shoot it to her in a text. You can stop by her office and get that approval, and then you can go ahead and order them. If you guys are broker status or become broker status, there are some advertising guidelines we'll talk about shortly that are posted to our website that you can reference. So you can guys get like an indication of whether or not you're on the right track or know if you need to adjust anything in your designs. But that way you guys have an idea of what to do. And that will also carry over, obviously, when you don't necessarily need the permission, but you still want to have clarity that you're doing the right thing, I think is the big one. So I am going to just close out of this briefly, guys. But when you are in there, when you're going to create a design, it's going to ask you, who are you with? You say Keller Williams, and then it's going to ask you, okay, well, who's your market center? And you can just drag the drop down menu will have Valentine or look for 350, and then either or we will pop up, and then it'll auto populate some of our information as well, just to simplify for you. I'll close out of that and we'll bounce back. So now that was the last thing I like to show about Scott Leroy Marketing's website. And again, we just got to that through here on the right-hand side. So if you guys want to explore that more, start ordering those business cards, I would encourage you to do so. But oh, we don't have to have a name tag. If you talk to other agents, I always encourage, as a brand new agent, talk to other agents because they're happy for you to tap them on the shoulder and ask questions so you guys have an idea of what to do. You'll notice that several of our agents wear name tags. Some of them even insist on it because they're like, no, 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 that is how I get business because I wear it to the grocery store and somebody sees Keller Williams on my name tag. And they're like, oh, are you in real estate? And that's as simple as it is. Sometimes the name tag generates the leads themselves. So consider it. It's not a requirement, but of course it's something to have in your back pocket if you ever want to use it. But we are still under that new agent button. As we get a little bit further, of all the Facebook pages here, I'm really going to talk to you guys about the top two. Our first Facebook page here is just a private Facebook page. It is just our agents and our leadership team. So, in that same private Facebook page, I'm constantly on there as a leadership team member telling you about upcoming trainings and events. That way, you guys can easily get plugged into anything of interest. I'll include descriptions with a link right there. So, it's very easy to jump right in. The other thing on there too, it's great because it's an opportunity for you guys to get connected with other agents. You can collaborate with them. I know a lot of times we're seeing so many different communication threads through different posts on that page, and it's very, very helpful. If you guys have questions, you're welcome to ask them on there. There are obviously some that make the most sense just to go ask your BIC, of course. But if you guys had a question like, hey, I just looked at all of our vendors and I'm just not seeing a garage door company that can service Concord. Does anybody know of anyone out there that can do that? People will literally screenshot their contacts and they will drop them in the comments for you. So you immediately have someone to reach out to. If you're looking for maybe I need a referral agent out in Connecticut and I just don't know anybody, does anyone work with someone out there? People will say, yep, that so and so out in Connecticut, love them, amazing. They'll give you their contact information. So we are a very collaborative office and we mean that truly. You'll see that in your communications and collaborations with other agents here. We're always here to help. And if there's anything that we can offer you, even if it's just answering a quick question, we're happy to do it. So that Facebook page is huge and one I'd encourage you to be part of. It'll just ask you to basically request access to the page. But as an admin on there, I will see your request and I can go ahead and approve it. It's another great opportunity too for you guys to get your foot in the door. If you're wondering, like, hey, I'd love to shadow an open house. Maybe I want to make a post about that. If anyone's interested or available for me to shadow an open house, I'd love to do it. People will start commenting, hey, reach out to me. I just sent you a message or anything like that. The second page down here is the strategic alliance partners. It's basically a fancy way to say those are our vendor partners. And our vendor partners have a private Facebook group as well. So our private Facebook group with vendor partners is again leadership and agents, and now our vendor partners. Our vendor partners in this program have all been vetted by other Keller Williams Valentine agents. So you know you're talking to someone that's done certifiable work with someone else in this office. So you know it's good quality stuff, or they probably wouldn't have recommended them for the program. So there's a ton of amazing vendors. And I think that's also one of the biggest hurdles sometimes as a brand new agent. So you obviously want to be the real estate expert. You want to help service your clients by telling them, oh, well, here's three people I'd recommend to help with that job. But if you don't know somebody, that can be a little daunting at first. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But if you guys really want to seem like, okay, like I've got it together, here's all these people you can reach out to. Our vendor program's an amazing opportunity. So you can easily pull three quotes from somebody and say, here, reach out to them, figure out who you'd like, but here's my suggestions. And that's a really, really great way for you guys to also just build additional relationships. So there's plenty of ways that our vendors in our program can benefit you with the products or services they offer, and they're constantly talking about them on that Facebook page. They're also like in there randomly and they're talking about promotional deals they're running. So maybe you guys can do something for yourself or for a client at a deal. So check out that Facebook page, join that as well because it's a great way to get connected. The other beautiful thing about Facebook is if you just search plumber, anybody who's a plumber can populate right then and there within that Facebook group. So that's the beauty of that page. And I highly encourage you guys to be part of that as I would the top as well. The other three listed here are just really not that active anymore. So you guys don't have to worry about joining a bunch of Facebook pages all at once. But those are two highly popular pages that I'd encourage you to participate in. A little bit further down, we do have access to Kellerisms. Kellerisms really, in short, if you clicked on it, it opens up to a whole different page. And it's just basically breaking down the language you hear at Keller Williams. And that's not to say that, it's super, super confusing, but we acknowledge that there are some things that we're saying inside of these walls that don't exist outside of these walls. So if you're wondering, okay, like Teresa mentioned a 145, but what is that? I completely understand. I've been through it. So if you guys are wondering, what is capping? What is a 145? I think I get it. I just want to make sure. And I'm a little nervous to ask that question, or maybe it's just late at night and I don't want to bother anybody. You guys can easily reference that sheet because it tells you every single term that's really specific to us. And then it breaks them down into real world terminology so it can make sense. Because there are going to be some ones that obviously have some context to it and you can kind of infer what it means. There are also going to be some like the 145 that truly that doesn't really give me any indication what it is. So there's going to be a lot more information shared here if you guys ever had questions about that. little bit further down, when talking about your technology, I always say that that's probably the biggest obstacle, not to say it's not easily surmountable, but if you guys have questions about that, that's natural. This is technology that was built by KW for KW. So if you were not a part of KW prior, you have no experience with it. If you leave these walls, you don't necessarily have experience with it either because it is solely a KW network. So when it comes to KW Command, with that in mind, we understand, of course, that questions will arise. It's the first time you're seeing this platform. We want to make sure that you understand how to use it. So if you guys are looking for some additional, again, supplemental training opportunities and you're big readers, which I know Trinity is a big reader because we talked about it this morning. So if you like to read through these solutions to your problems, whether it's troubleshooting or just learning how to do something new in the program, answers.kw.com is going to be a great resource for you guys. It actually, when you go to that website, it'll allow you to like basically select what platform within KW that you want to talk about or that you're looking at. And when you select that platform, you can say, okay, it's KW Connect I have questions on, or oh, it's Command. Then it opens up to a search field where you can type in specific keywords about what your question is relative to. And then any articles that exist in there that are constantly updated, by the way, you will get them generated right then and there. So you can begin reading through solutions to the questions you have. The other thing with that as well is that when you are on that website, they also include screenshots. So you don't have to be like, well, I don't want to read like all this information if I can't see it. I need the visual. There are screenshots included as well. So there's really no confusion between what they're referencing when you're reading through everything. So utilize that as a tool for you guys if it helps, especially because we always consider it's kind of on demand. You guys have access to that anytime you need it. So if it's 2 a.m. and you're struggling to submit an offer, maybe there's something in there about how I can do this in DocuSign. You guys can look and see if there's anything related on there. So it's another tool in your tool belt when it comes to your KW Tech. There's also a sister website to this. There's also a sister website to this called ideas.kw.com. And ideas.kw.com is actually purely about your suggestions and your feedback for Command. So like I said, all built by KW and for KW, whether you are a transfer agent who's used a CRM before or you're a brand new agent learning it for the first time, they do want to make sure it's user friendly and makes sense and it's efficient. So if you're noticing, like, I love that this button is featured on this page, but what if you had it also available on this next screen? You guys can drop suggestions like that into ideas.kw.com. They are constantly releasing different updates to the program. So at any point in time, you may even see that one of your suggestions got, applied to the program, and then it's that much easier for you to use. So please feel free if you care to provide any suggestions or feedback. They are looking and they want to make sure that they're constantly keeping Command relevant and one of the best programs out there. So utilize both of those websites. They're very helpful. You scroll down a little further, there is access to Ignite materials there. However, there's much easier ways to get to the materials actually through the calendar. So I usually just say wait and go to the calendar, that much easier. We also have the training calendar access point here. Again, I'm going to show you the easy way to get to it. That was a lot of scrolling, lots of buttons. I'm not going to make you remember that. But there is an access point if you found yourself on this page. And the very, very bottom here, again, easier way to get to the conference room specifically under this helpful link drop down, you'll see schedule a conference room right there. But there is a lot of, there's an access point here as well if you do all that digging. Essentially though, we will have conference rooms at the new office as well as this office. And let me tell you guys, I'm very excited about them, which sounds like the most adult thing I've probably ever said in my life. I'm excited about conference rooms. Wow, that's exciting. So the conference rooms over there, we actually have 5 different conference rooms, and they all vary in the capacity that they hold. But if you click on the schedule a conference room button, what it'll do is it will take you to a website. It's called Skeda. Not that you need to have that memorized. It'll ask you basically create a login when you first go to it, and then you can freely access that spreadsheet and start booking those rooms. The biggest thing with our conference rooms is we do consider them to be more collaborative rooms. That means if you're having a meeting with your coach, if you are meeting with a client, having a consultation with somebody, or if you are maybe collaborating with another agent, conference rooms are going to be one of the most appropriate spaces for you to be in, and you're welcome to utilize them. The biggest thing with that is that we just usually say 2 hours hours or so is the max for a given reservation. That's just to make sure they are on rotation for every agent as well. But in addition to that, if you are looking more for a private area to work, because if you're like me, I get really chatty and then it's just game over. Like I need to be able to focus in a quiet space sometimes. So if that speaks to you as well, at our new office, there will be a couple options. Anytime the training room is not in use. So if we were not in here right now and this was a vacant room, you're welcome to pop down with your laptop and do stuff in the training room. That's always an option. We also will have our hub area similar to this area out here, which I apologize if you guys did not see it when all the tables were there. There's normally high top tables over there with chairs that you guys are welcome to utilize too. That also applies at our new office. So right now it looks a little sad. So don't think that that's what the next one's going to look like. This is purely just an interim situation we've got going on. But then in addition to those, both of those areas, we won't have cubicles like we used to in this office at the new location. But what we will have are called focus rooms. And these focus rooms are literally small little office with one desk. You guys can also reserve those rooms for 2 hours at a time for yourself and yourself only. So if you needed that private space, you didn't have an office and maybe it was too noisy at home, my dog's barking, my family's going crazy, you guys can easily utilize the focus rooms as well. Again, 2 hours a day, but all of those are resources that will be available to you to utilize. And when you open up that spreadsheet, it will categorize at the top. It'll tell you conference room number 1, 2, still working on names, but 1, 2, 3, it tells you the capacity it holds. And then on the left hand margin there, it tells you all of the time slots. So you can see all the time in the day and just drag and drop. So it's very easy to visually see when it's already booked, know what room would best fit you, and go ahead and make your reservation. And if you guys ever have difficulty doing that, I am an admin on that page. So if you're having any issues, just send me an email. That scared me really bad. Just send me an email and I will also make sure that I can give you trusted access, basically, is what it's usually looking for. So I'm here to help if you have any issues there. But we are going to go back to our home page here, guys. So we talked about that new agent tab. If you can believe it, all of that content was condensed into one button. But I promise we'll move a little bit faster through here as long as you guys are good to go. But this is really just going to highlight who's on our leadership team. Who can you expect to see in the halls regularly, basically here? What are their names? What do we do? What our contact information is? That just gives you a really good idea of just about everybody here. So with that in mind, as you scroll a little bit further down, page, this is actually the video I was telling you about before we started today. When you guys are first getting comfortable with your KW technology, it can be like a little bit confusing to say the least, how to make sure that everything's linked together. You want to make sure your DocuSign's communicating with your command because you want your forms from DocuSign to populate into command. And when you send something, you want to see that that's recognized in command. Totally makes sense. So it can be a little confusing on how to get all of that squared away. This particular video has actually stayed up here longer than that 1 week because it's been so popular. But this is a 25-minute video and it explains pretty much all of that at a basic level for first-time users. So Jules and this is actually Leah's video, but Jules and Leah, our tech coordinators, have this video published for your reference so that when you guys are ready to do that, and I do encourage you guys, try to learn ahead as much as you can. Nobody likes being frantic. It's just stressful and you don't want to put that panic on yourself. And sometimes it's just even worse because then you don't know if you're going to hear back from somebody in time. So always recommend learning ahead if you can. This is a great opportunity to learn ahead and make sure everything's ready to go for that first transaction. So pay attention to that video. Leah actually and I talked about it recently. If you guys have any questions once you've watched it, you can directly reach out to Jules and Leah and they'll give you more information. But that's a great reference tool for you guys, especially for those first couple weeks that you've got the technology. As you scroll further down on our webpage here, you will eventually arrive on our calendar. If you do click the office calendar button, it'll just drag for you so you don't have to waste time scrolling. But this is going to be our overview of basically all things KWB, what's happening in here, what's happening with KW in general. If there's other trainings that are offered online, maybe you could be part of. This is where you can find all of that. So if you click here to view full calendar, this is the easiest way to legibly see everything. Just opens up way more cleanly. You can see everything, and then you can also know, okay, here's my time slots. Okay, it's much easier. But you can click on any given thing on here, any given event, and you can then see, okay, here's the information that they're sharing. This is my description. Oh, and here's my link. If there's a link to attend anything, registration, whether it's in person or online, it will be shared here. There's also sometimes an attached flyer as well. So you guys will have access to all of that information. You can easily copy it directly to your calendar as well. It just kind of simplifies so you guys know what's going on and how you can plug in to any of the things that get you excited or interested. So please check this out. We've got a ton of stuff going on. March for us was a little bit quieter just because of this move. We didn't want to have too many moving parts on top of everything else. But you'll see in April, we were picking up right where we left off. We were jumping full swing in. So there's plenty of other things going on. Again, you guys are very new to real estate, but if you've heard anything about the NAR settlement or if you guys have any concerns about that, several things will be available starting next week online as virtual seminars to discuss what that looks like, what you can expect as a result, and how to help direct your conversations based off of that settlement. So if anybody is actually genuinely worried or concerned about what they may have heard about that and they want to know more, there's at least 3 different trainings happening Monday and Tuesday. So you guys can easily jump on any of those. Again, I will say also for you guys, KW Valentine trainings, typically speaking, will be free for you guys. That is not to say the same for all KW offices. And very rarely you will see occasionally there may be one that there is a cost associated, but 9 times out of 10, it's free. So please take advantage of as much of it as you can. I always tell you guys as entrepreneurs, it's entirely up to you what you choose to do with that freedom and what you choose to learn. But we do have all of the resources you need to be successful in this office. And I truly believe that. It's just up to you guys on what you want to utilize of those resources. So the calendar, one of the best resources out there just because it shows you so many different conversations that are happening. But if you guys have questions about anything you're seeing on there, I do a lot of work with this calendar. So feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to give you some clarification on whether something's in person or Zoom. If you have questions about it or wanted to get maybe connected with someone specific in regards to it, let me know. I'm happy to put that in motion. But please check out that calendar starting this weekend. Start signing up for anything that gets you excited. We've got some fun stuff coming up in April. You'll see more announcements about that as well. We'll even be doing some exciting stuff with a social media kind of based class. Like if you're nervous about getting on camera, absolutely. It happens to the best of us. Julie Saley is going to tackle that with you guys. She's going to teach you how to get over your fears and how to make any videos and things like that beautiful. Jules and Leah also do some fun workshops like that as well. You'll see. So lots of fun stuff happening in this office. Hmm. Hmm. Yep. So if you're in coaching, so if you get assigned to a business coach, which typically brand new agents, you guys are all auto enrolled into coaching, you're welcome to participate in Power Hour at any point in time. So it's 9 to 10. And it's basically just saying 9 to 10 o'clock. Other agents will be in the hub and they're just lead generating. And sometimes, since lead generating is sometimes the least fun thing that you guys do, having other people in the room can make it more fun or really inspire you kind of to put your head down and start working on it. So in the hub area at our new office, especially, you'll see in the mornings there will be agents that will be in the hub just kind of lead genning. So you guys will have the opportunity. There's no sign up required for it. Just come on in. But really, it's an opportunity for you to dedicate some time to lead gen, really, and with other people. So fun stuff. Mhm. PT. Peace. T group. No, so coaching and transaction group are 2 different things. So in that packet that you got from me, there's a coach line and then there's a T group or transaction partner line. Those are your two. We kind of split them basically. So rather than getting one mentor, which people typically ask about when they're first joining, you guys have kind of a joint connection to build up to what would be a mentor in someone else's world. You guys have one person who's really here to help set up your business for success, teach you the lead generation tactics, teach you scripts, and teach you just different opportunities that are out there for you in real estate, as well as hold you accountable. That's your coach. And then you guys also have transaction partners, and your transaction partner is weekly going over contracts and forms. That's pretty much their entire focus is how to fill those out. So if you had questions about that, always ask your transaction partner partner first. And then if they don't know, they'll direct you to Tasha or Sabra beyond. But when it comes to how to maybe do something, how would you recommend? Is there like a tactic for farming a neighborhood? Or I'm scared to go door knocking. Do you know anybody I could go door knocking with? You guys can have like questions like that more with your coach. Your coach is here to help make sure your business is set up for success. So between the two, yes, they're different. Between the two, you have kind of a combined mentor, and your business coach or productivity coach is what they used to be called last year. That's all the same. So anytime you see productivity coaching, that is the same as if you're in coaching. So a little bit less confusing, and I apologize. We like revamped a little bit at the start of the new year. I still even struggle to say the right things for 2024. So if I'm saying something from before, I apologize. Just catch me on it and ask me a question. I'll be able to tell you, oh my God, I'm so sorry. That's actually, I meant this. So yeah, no, you're okay. Hmm. Hmm. Yep. Yep, easily. Yeah. So when it comes to your transaction partner and your business coach, you obviously you're given their weekly times. So that's obviously more of a set appointment, but yes, but when it comes to the power hour specifically, anytime that you're available to make it in, you're welcome to come on in for it. There's no requirement to sign up for that, obviously, and also with that being said, there's no real set anything with that. It's more just, hey, there's going to be people in the hub. If you wanted to come on in and swing out and hang out with them, you can. If not, then you don't have to. That's okay. Like again, entrepreneurs, it's not a training. It's literally just kind of there is a coach usually in the hub as well, so you can ask questions with that coach. But Power Hour is really just lead genning. It's collected. It's no, it's okay. It's lead gen is when you're basically finding new clients. So whether you're sending letters or you're making cold calls or you're making a smart plan to touch people in your sphere, people you already know, basically, any of that kind of consists of lead generation. So lead generation is just generating new business and hopeful business for the future. So meeting new people or touching and loving on the people that you already have and already know. So there you go. So yeah, that would be power hour would be opportunities to do that, but like next to somebody basically. So you're not just because again, I think with accountability, like me myself, I tell myself like, yeah, I'm gonna lead gen this morning. If I'm by myself in my house, again, you might be different, but like I might like stop lead genning 30 minutes in. I might not do a full hour because I just don't have the same environment around me. It's easy to taper off and get distracted. That's an opportunity to just have like more of again, a more defined setting for it so that it becomes a more habitual like implementation in your schedule for you because that's really the heart of your business and that's usually what people joke is like the hardest part, right? Is lead gen is just the least fun because it's what you know you have to do, but lead gen is the most important thing you can do for your business usually. So not quite a training, more just like an opportunity than anything, but almost everything else on there would be training oriented. And then you'll see if something's a social event where like, hey, come meet us at Hickory Tavern and get some drinks and have some free appetizers. That would be special, like specifically noted as a social. So you're welcome. And then below, it's highlighting some of the specific recurring meetings that we've got. So if you're talking about ALC meetings, team meetings, Tech Tuesdays, you want to know when you can expect the next one, or maybe just a little bit more about that. That information is shared here. So you're welcome to read more about it. Actually, we will have a team meeting the first Tuesday. So next Tuesday, we'll have our team meeting the first Tuesday we're in our new office. So please join us for that. It's a lot of fun. It'll be interesting to see what it'll look like in our new office, and we're super excited about it. So please partake if you can. And you'll also notice that team meetings, for example, are one of those that you can do in person or online. So maybe you can't physically be in the room, but if you could like listen to a Zoom of it, you could still get the information, kind of still feel like you're part of it and not feel like you missed out on anything, which is awesome. A little bit further, we've got our wonderful broker in charge, Miss Sabra, and Tasha Viney, our BIC associate. Tasha Viney, in essence, is not quite the same authority levels as Sabra. So when it comes to signing forms like that, Sabra will have to be your go-to. But Tasha's just equally knowledgeable and kind of Sabra's right hand, if you will. So she's here to help us, and she's more our boots on the ground. Sabra is not commonly in our office, you'll come to find out. But Tasha actually has 3 days a week that she's in here for office hours. You can see her office hours are posted right there in the middle. You also can see their contact information is displayed in addition. What I will say with that, As of right now, and this is not something I tell other orientations or KWB Keys to Success groups, Tasha's email is having some issues right now. So if you needed to reach Tasha for anything, I always encourage to call her or text her at this point, especially knowing what's going on with her phone or her email right now. So that obviously is not posted here. So if anybody needs it, Paige, I know we talked specifically about that. You just want to send me an email and ask me that question like, hey, could you send me Tasha's phone number? I'll reply back to it before this weekend. So that way you guys have it and can reach out to her for anything. But you'll also see here, we have access to some charts. So I know as brand new licensed agents, you guys might have some questions about what it takes to renew your licenses, make sure everything's squared away for the next year. Because June is oddly enough like the cutoff, basically. It's not fiscal. So if you guys had any questions about what that looks like or want to make sure that you're in good standing, you can reference any of those charts and they'll give you more information about what the expectation is, what the requirement is, and then gives you just specific, I cannot talk every time I get up here, man, specific information as to how you can check on your end to make sure, like log in here and like see where you're at. It'll tell you your hours or whatever. It's a great reference guide basically for you to make sure that you're in a good spot. And we want to make sure nobody gets in trouble come June. I don't know enough about licenses to tell you anything more than that to be like, but don't worry, you'll be good. I don't know. I don't know. So you definitely just touch base with that or ask around. Other agents usually know more than I do. So then we come down to our Agent Leadership Council or our ALC. Our ALC are top producing agents in our office. This is a slideshow. It may go on its own, but it may also want me to click it. But it will show you all of the agents basically serving on our ALC. As top producing agents, they're actually still functioning businesses, but they are offering a little bit more of their time to represent different committees at Ballantine. And those committees really are here to make decisions on behalf of our market center on what to implement moving forward, what changes to make, or what we like and what we want to continue doing. And so each of them has a different focus. We've got three co-chairs right now for our social and KW Cares committee, which is our parties, fun special events, and charitable donations committee. So if that speaks to you and you've got interest in like what those conversations look like, maybe you want to join the committee and be part of all that fun. They would love to hear from you. So you guys can see any emails posted there and reach out to them. We've also got career development. Career development focuses on the trainings that are brought into this office. So again, if you wanted to hear those conversations or maybe even send out something and say, hey, I'm brand new. I love the trainings I'm seeing on the calendar, but do you have anything planned for finance in the next couple months? I'd love to know more about my finances. They can, if it's not already on the calendar, they'll reach out to me. We'll get it on the calendar. We want to hear from you so we can make sure that this is as representative of your interests as possible. And then the other committee we've got currently is our growth committee. Our growth committee focuses on building up your downline. So when you guys entered our office, you named a KW sponsor. You also were told at that point in time that you have the same opportunities to become a sponsor for other agents and build passive income through your downline. Our growth committee focuses solely on that, and they teach you how to have those conversations with people so that you too can be encouraging and inviting other agents and build that downline. So if you're interested in basically free money, that's where you go. They're great. But so their information is all posted, and you can reach out to any one of them if you have interest, or if you just wanted to sit and honestly observe their meeting, like hear the conversations. I don't necessarily want to commit to it, but I'd love to know what you're talking about, like what's going on. And collectively, all of these committees meet together with Teresa and Lynn, and every month they will make decisions on behalf of Valentine because we do value our agent body. Obviously, we don't want to make decisions that you guys would turn around and say, well, hated that. That's not our goal. We want to make sure that Valentine is a special place to be and one that you are proud to be part of. So when those once a month meetings happen, they're having those bigger conversations. So if we ever were contemplating changing the cap value here and we changed it to maybe you had a $22,000 cap instead of a $13,500 cap, that can be scary. That's a big change and it impacts you guys directly. So that's something that we always bring back to our ALC so that actual agents in our office are also voting on it so that you know that you're represented in the decisions they're making. And you guys can also sit in on those. We just ask that if you do choose to sit and observe, you let our agents, our ALC, hold the floor for that meeting and you're more there to observe, but you guys have that opportunity. We also have our wonderful productivity coaches or business coaches, exactly what I was saying, where sometimes it's one way and sometimes it's the other. Slowly but surely, guys, I will piece it all together, I promise. But these are some of our wonderful coaches, and you guys will be introduced to one of them. Again, they are here to really help hold you guys accountable, get to know you, get to know what your goals are, and help you guys to reach them as best they can. They're going to be meeting weekly. They're going to be going over those conversations you can have with clients. They're going to be talking about maybe what's going on in the market right now, just so you guys have an idea of what to do and what to implement in your business. So they are going to be sharing all that great information with you so you can, again, be set up for success. And then you also are given a transaction partner or a T group partner. And those individuals are experts, again, when it comes to contracts and forms, meeting weekly. They're going to chunk that content down for you so it's not as overwhelming. It's a lot more easy to digest. And ideally, once you're sitting through those meetings, you guys will even be able to kind of take the information you're gleaning from your instructor, from your partner, and you'll be able to write down and fill out basically like a template, if you will, that you could reference at any point in time when filling out with real clients. So that's something to keep in mind. The only other thing I like to mention when it comes to these partners is that these individuals are still agents in our office. They do still all have businesses of their own. So again, this is additional time that they are contributing to give back to agents and our incoming agent body because they value training you guys and helping you guys to succeed because a lot of them have seen different firms or known different situations where that help wasn't offered, and they don't want to do that to anybody because they know if you want to learn, they want to help. So keep that in mind. So if you email somebody, they might not right away email you back. And that's not to say that they didn't see it or that they don't care, that they just truly may be balancing something else going on. So always try to be respectful of that. Also, some of them have families. So if you're emailing at 9 p.m. and they don't email you back, it's not because they hate you, because maybe their kids are in bed or anything like that. So just keep all those things in mind. They're here to give you as much of their time as they can, but just be understanding that it's not the only job they have. So this is also our frequently used websites and links. We're going to jump back to the top here. And I promise, guys, I'm going to try and pick up the pace here because I know we're getting a little behind schedule. This second tab here is our frequently asked questions. This is a quick one. All of these represent different questions you may have at some point in time, or just generalizations, if you will. If you're wondering about your agent bill and you're not sure who you should reach out to, if you just hover over that tab, it tells you right there. It's Lynn Davis. It tells you her contact information. So any of these given or questions, you can hover over and it tells you who you can contact in regards to that question. So keep that in mind. It gives you, again, a loose idea of what each of us does on leadership. However, again, if you're seeing my question is absolutely nowhere even close to what's posted on the site, I still don't know who to talk to, you can absolutely come to me. The next tab I'm going to show you guys is our on-demand training tab. You'll notice that this tab is password protected. So for those of you who have a writing utensil or have a way to type it in, whatever that looks like, this password, oh, it's on-demand training. It's a tab at the top. Oh God, you're fine. Again, like I do this class every couple of weeks. This is very common. If you like look down for like 1 second, sometimes you'll miss when I click on. And I'm not offended at all. I just always want to make sure you ask the question so you know where to go. So you did great. This password in particular is very similar to our Wi-Fi password, which is no longer behind my head. So it's a capital B, lowercase a, M, C, 3500. So it stands for Valentine Area Market Center 350. Sometimes that just helps to make it make more sense. Once you're inside of this particular training tab on the left-hand side under on demand, I always suggest please click on that because you guys may love it. It's going to connect you to our KW Ballantyne YouTube channel. So while this is not going to be every single training that we ever offer, in the event that you miss any of those trainings, especially those that are offered through Zoom, this is where you can find a good amount of them. I will give you a little hint. The upload or the playlist down here tells you basically any of the trainings that are offered. If you're noticing like, oh, I was looking for, what's it gonna be? I was looking for like Sabra's NAR settlement conversation from last week. not going to be here. You can literally look and see what the trainings are, and then you can go through the playlist and you can see any installment basically of that. I think it started in 2022. I think we started this. So you guys will have the opportunity to basically go back and see anything you may have missed. You missed a team meeting because you just could not make it work. That's absolutely understandable, but we don't want that to mean that you just can't get that information. So this is an avenue for you guys to explore if you think that would help supplement anything. This will have a lot of the recurring trainings more than anything. We're talking about those tech trainings, Tech Tuesdays. We've got marketing masterminds. We've got new agent tech huddles, which is the very basics of your technology. We've got my orientation class. We've got compliance orientation, which is now how to get paid faster. So if you guys want to know how to guarantee that your commission check gets cashed and sent to you pretty much right away, that's the class you want to take. So plenty of great information shared here. The biggest thing is I go on here to upload as much as I can, but if at any point in time you're looking for something specific and you're just not seeing it, reach out to me via email. Sometimes YouTube will not allow me to publish a video if it thinks it violates a policy of theirs, which is hilarious because Jules and Leah, I hope you guys think this is funny. Jules and Leah's videos get flagged a lot for cyberbullying, which is hilarious because I know that's not happening. So I'm like, I just don't understand what it thinks is happening. I even went so far as to like try to combat it and like responded to YouTube and I was like, yeah, could you take another look? Like have a real person look at this rather than your system. They're like, no, it definitely violates it. And I was like, okay, cool. So in that event, I may still have the recording. It just might not be published. So please reach out if you're looking for a specific training that's just not there. I'm happy to take a look and see if I can get that information to you. So that is our KWB YouTube channel. Very similar. On the right-hand side, this is Scott Lowry Marketing's YouTube channel. So again, if live trainings are just not so much of an option for you right now, that's absolutely understandable, but it doesn't mean you can't still learn. So this is all of the tech content and trainings you probably could ever want in life. There are quick tips that are just a few minutes long, and then there's full-length classes that they're sharing as well. The biggest thing is, of course, we do still always encourage you guys, if you can be present, whether online or in person for a live training, do live as often as possible. Again, solely because you have the opportunity to ask questions in real time. But if you guys don't have that option for any reason, that's understandable. This is a great tool for you so you can get a lot of that information without necessarily having to physically have been present in the room. So know that this is out here, and that is going to be one of everyone's favorite tabs, as it always is. It's on-demand training. So just below, a little bit more info about Ignite, but we're going to go ahead and bounce forward just to save a little bit of time. Under Office Resources, which is our next tab, but before I click on anything, I'm just hovering right now, you can see those advertising guidelines are posted right here. So if you guys are looking to see what do I have to have versus what can I not have explained on a marketing piece or my business card, advertising guidelines is a great place to start. But again, if you have questions, always go to Tasha. And if you're a provisional broker, please especially go see Tasha. The do not call list is also something I'm sure you guys have heard of. It's a very big, important one. You don't want to be calling the wrong people because those are some hefty fines that you can face. So if you are wondering how you can have access to the list of people that you are not going to be calling, click on the do not call list and it will give you step-by-step instructions on how you guys can register to have access to that list. And then if you click into the Office Resources tab at this point in time, you'll notice it's password protected, but it's the same password we already shared. So it's a capital B, lowercase a, M, C, 350. And then once you're inside of this tab, on the left-hand side, you'll see that there's a tab or a button called General Forms. You click on Get Forms. I know all of us are North Carolina licensed. That's why I'm going to show you this one. This is going to be a Google Drive folder that Miss Sabre built up, and it is all the different forms specific to Keller Williams Ballantyne. So when I say that, it's important to make sure that we know this is not going to be your offer to purchase. This is not every single document you're responsible for. If it's a state form, essentially, that will exist for you guys either through Canopy, like zip forms, and you guys will know more about that as you get a little more comfortable using Canopy, or it's available to you through DocuSign. You can find it in either location. That's where you can find the state contracts and forms. This, again, is only Keller Williams specific forms, whether it's a referral agreement for our office, whether it's the W-9, because you have a referral partner, you need to send them our information so you can get paid. Whether it is a working with real estate agent disclosure, Sabre is very big on collecting septic and sewer information. So septic and sewer disclosure, or septic and sewer, is it disclosure? Just Agent discovery is in here. God, you're fine. And then we've also got our, let's see, we've got disclosures about our partnerships with title companies. So anything like that that is specific to our office can be found here. If you wanted a working with real estate agent brochure, if you wanted to have maybe like more of a fun, this is kind of a checklist overview of what you're responsible from walk in to walk through. This will give you an idea of all of those pieces of information you're required to take care of. But any of that great information can be found right here in this Google Drive folder. But again, you've also got the contracts for the state that can be found in your DocuSign. I always tell you guys, several weeks from now, several months from now, when you're closing your first deal, if you forget everything I just told you, but you know that this exists, if you start here and you're missing anything and you're like, that form is not in there, try your DocuSign. If you're in your DocuSign and that form's not in there, try this Google Drive folder. Between it sounds silly, but truly between the two, you should have access to everything you need with very little to no issue. So please, of course, let us know if you're struggling to find something. Your transaction partner can usually help give you some guidance as to where to find a form if you're struggling. But also, you're welcome to ask me. I don't know that I'll know beyond that Google Drive folder because I can only access so much because I'm not licensed, but I'm happy to try and help you guys connect dots anytime I can. Similar in theory. So if you guys ever became South Carolina licensed, I should tell you on the right-hand side there where it's red, South Carolina office forms, the equivalent of what we just looked at for South Carolina is present in that Google Drive folder. And then in the middle here under Get Checklist, guys, if you click on this, this is going to show you Sabra's amazing. First and foremost, Sabra's amazing. This is literally every single task you guys are responsible for doing, when you're responsible for doing it, and did you do it for literally any transaction you could possibly have under our office. Whether you're a North or South Carolina license, whether you're buy or sell or rentals, all of that information is shared in different checklists here, and the title indicates exactly what you're looking for in terms of when or what side of the transaction or what state. But literally several pages worth of just making sure that you've covered every single base there is to cover. These don't actually, this is where like I think it's crazy and why Sabra's amazing. These don't exist outside of like KWB. Sabra made them. So these are something that she put together to make sure you guys are ready to roll. And the reason I like to show them to you guys specifically is solely because those transactions, especially the first couple, they're going to be a little intimidating. And that's natural. Okay. Obviously, present yourself with confidence all the time because they don't know that it's your first transaction. And you will probably present so much better than you think you are. So always have faith in yourself, guys. That's huge. But of course, if you are looking for this, that additional like crutch, if you will, so you just know for sure I've covered my bases, my ducks are in a row. These are great tools for you, and I want you to know they're out there because I don't want you to feel unnecessary fear or anxiety going into that first deal. I want you guys to feel like very, very comfortable and confident so you can present well and you can have a great first transaction. So yeah. So if these are going to help you guys in any sense, please use them, whether it's opening it up digitally at the end of the night, making sure you did everything you needed to do, or printing it out and like shoving it into like a pocket in your folder. You kind of keep hidden in your listing appointment, but then you go and you check it off in the car or something, whatever that looks like. This is a tool. If it's going to benefit you, it exists. And I want you to know that it's there to help you guys succeed. So it's a little bit less scary those first few transactions. No, yeah, of course. No, you're fine. Hmm. Hmm. So if you have a client, so if you're, this is where it kind of breaks into specifics about what your question would be regarding that transaction. If you had a client, and for Trinity, if you had a client, who would you go talk to for more questions on like how to talk to that client, what to do with that client if you didn't quite know yet because you were still fairly new? Your transaction partner, again, that's great for contracts and forms. So if you're submitting that offer to purchase, later tonight or tomorrow, again, try to give time and warning to these people so that they can get back to you without making you panic more than anything. If it's contractor form related, talk to your transaction partner. If it's okay, how do I generate business? Okay, now that I've done this, what's the next step? I think I'm supposed to do. Is it this form, any, if it's what's the next step in this process, of course you can reference things like this that already exist. But if you wanted to ask that question, that may be a little bit more geared towards a coach to make sure you covered some of those bases. And then outside of that, know that Ignite, whether you are taking it in physically this office in the mornings, 5 days a week, or if you were interested in taking Ignite after dark, which is a Zoom version, and that is Tuesday evenings. And typically, we usually encourage our dual career agents to consider that if it works better for your schedule. That's actually one session a week, but Ignite is going to be that program. So, those 20 sessions, you're learning everything essentially you need to do. And we actually, right now, I think they just did session 15 or 16. And Teresa was talking to some of the agents from it, and they were saying, oh my God, it sounds crazy to say, but I'm feeling much better. Like this gave me so much insight as to what to do, or if not what to do, like maybe who I should talk to. If that's even if it's just tapping another agent in the hall, like on the shoulder and saying, hey, can I ask you a silly question? This is my first transaction. I've done this. Do you know if this applies? Do I do this part next or do I do that? And people are happy to help you guys and give some guidance if they can. But when it comes to that, it really would depend. It's not necessarily there's a go to person. It really would be more related to what step of the process are you in and then fielding it that way, if that makes sense. So, Ignite ideally will give you all that information before you ever even need to worry about it. But Jess Peg is actually who teaches our launch, which is our orientation to Ignite. She even tells you guys first thing. She's like, if you have a client call you today before session one and you don't know what to say, she tries to give you guys some help with that as well. So Jess Peg would be another great person to talk to if you needed to. And any of that information, you guys can always reach out to me about. I'm happy to connect you with anyone you need to. But you're welcome. Oh my gosh, anytime. So that is going to be the checklist button, basically. We're going to talk about the CE shop, which if you click find classes, we do partner with two different real estate schools. One is the CE shop and one is the Superior School of Real Estate. So CE shop, amazing. It's offered online. It's self-paced, which is a lot more doable sometimes, but also it can be that it just doesn't fit well for your learning style. It's an and or. The biggest thing is, again, you guys know yourselves. You guys know what will benefit you best. I do like to share on the CE shop, though, that there is a free trial for you guys. If you ever wanted to contemplate or consider trying self-paced learning, you're not sure if it would be a good fit for you, but you also don't want to crash and burn and have that impact your ability to continue on and get the license. There's a free trial to test that out for 1 week if you're looking to get your South Carolina license. So something to consider. You're okay. So it's office resources and then it's find classes under CE shop. And then when you click that button, it takes you to their website and then it's just that free trial button. You're welcome. So if you guys are planning to get South Carolina license, that's something to absolutely consider if you've kind of dabbled with the idea of self-paced learning. If you're glued to, I know already I'm better in person, I'm better with a face-to-face, whether it's live on Zoom or whether it's physically in a classroom. Superior is also an option for you guys. Through our partnerships, we do have discounts that are offered. CE Shop is constantly fluctuating, but if you scroll through, you can actually see whatever they're currently running. I also am subscribed to get notifications about any upcoming promotions they're offering. I get notifications about that well ahead of time. So I will post Facebook posts the day that something goes live as a deal on our Facebook page. I do it first thing in the morning so you guys can take advantage all day long. But I know that next Wednesday, if anyone's interested, there's going to be 40% off for the CE shop. So keep an eye out for that code, guys. It'll go on Facebook. But that's something that you guys will definitely want to keep an eye out for. The biggest thing that I always like to point out is that this is not only just for you guys to take advantage of. You can share this link with a friend who's in real estate school, with a friend who maybe with another firm. There's nothing wrong with sharing that information so they too can take advantage of it. Sometimes it can be a tool as well to help get you connected with someone else. If there's someone that you kind of know is interested in real estate in your neighborhood, say, hey, can I give you something? I'd love for you to take advantage of this great deal. They can go and get their license with that. They're not going to forget that you just saved them 40% on something like that. So, it's just a great tool for you guys, whether it's for you specifically or to share with others. Hmm. Yes. Yep. Yeah, but it's not provisional broker and broker like it is for North Carolina. What you'll notice is that everything that North Carolina does, South Carolina does the exact same thing, but backwards and vice versa. So they're literally one like line away from each other and they do everything polar opposite. So it'll be a slightly different process and it'll look a little bit different, but there's obviously some different opportunities through reciprocity and things like that that you're welcome to explore because I think it can save you guys some time and hopefully money as well along the way. So consider that as well. But that is where you can at least attempt some self-paced free trial of CE shop. I was trying to my train of thought just kind of like disappeared. Um, the other thing I like to share with you guys, I apologize. It used to be at the top of this page, and now I look like a crazy person because I'm going all the way to the bottom in like the fine print. But just for the sake of you knowing it exists, under hot topics, it's under this agent essentials column, but hot topics right here, it's actually a library that the CE shop holds, and it's all about blogs, podcasts, ebooks, videos about real estate. So not only is again this something you guys can utilize to supplement your own like knowledge base, but this is also something that I like to share with you guys for those of you who plan to have heavy social media marketing. I know most of us, actually all of us, I think are very young girls. So I'm sure social media to an extent has been a part of your world at some point in time. So in the event that that is something you want to implement for marketing your business, that's a big right now. Social media is huge with marketing, especially for real estate agents. But the biggest thing I've learned, not even being an agent, is that when it comes to the social media, there's two things to keep in mind. One is that you guys should always be posting something. Stay active on that page as often as you can. That's huge. And then also diversifying the content. Don't keep posting the same flyer every single day, the same picture every single day. People will kind of tune that out over time, and new content directs new traffic. So between those two, those are like key principles for social media, as far as I know. Jules and Leah can give you more, but that's what I know. So between that kind of it sounds still like it's not that big a deal. And I know, again, being young, you guys have a lot of experience with social media to an extent, I'm sure. Well, you know how to work it, right? Like that's think now there are agents that onboard that are 70 years old to start, so that's like a whole other hurdle for them trying to understand it. So if you know how it works, you've already got a leg up, ladies. But the big thing is it's difficult to generate that much new content all the time. I don't care who you are, sometimes that's hard. So if you guys needed like a free pass, basically use this. Just copy and paste the link and post it to your page. It can be fun, it can be humorous based off of what they have here. It can be informational. So whether it's something you learned from or you share to your social media, it's you'll hear the term a lot, rip off and duplicate. It sounds like plagiarism. It sounds terrible. But in real estate, it's super effective and something that we encourage. If you see somebody else doing something and they're having success with it, ask them about it. Get their script, get their information, get what they're offering, and do it in your own business. Like that's the beauty of what's offered here at Keller Williams. Same thing with this, rip off and duplicate. If you can kind of beat the system for the day just to save yourself some time or energy, do it. It's there to do that. So that is hot topics on CE Shop. Those are two things I talk about on that website, but again, tons more information there if you wanted to dive in. It's Valentine floor plan. Don't even look at it. It's going to be different next week. Don't even look at it. So when we go to the next portion here under numbers to know, you'll see there's going to be a few things here that great examples of numbers that exist out there that are important to know, but you probably will not be asked for them regularly, and that's okay. If you guys did get that South Carolina license and you're so excited, you're filling out that final piece of paper to get the license number released to you, it'll ask you for a firm license number. I bet you don't know that one, and I bet you won't know it 2 weeks from now, and that's okay. That's one of those infrequently used numbers. You'll be able to find stuff like that right here. So that's the number you would include on that. If you guys need our tax ID number for referrals or anything like that, you can find that information posted here as well. So just keep all of that in mind, guys, as you're going through. This is where you can reference that information. We're just at the bottom of our office resources page. If you miss it or misplace it or lose it, tell me. I'm happy to guide you back to it. But again, more of those infrequent numbers that you're not quite so sure about, this is where you can find them. We already talked about the office calendar. Under tech resources, I usually just kind of verbally talk about a couple of these. Marty Miller for Teams, for example, is a great opportunity. If you guys are fans of chunking down that content so it's not as overwhelming, not as time consuming, if you guys are looking to build a completed marketing profile so you have a great online presence, Marty Miller for Teams takes that entire process and breaks it into 66 days. I know it sounds lengthy. I saw your face. It sounds lengthy, so you guys don't have to do that. But if that made more sense for you, I'll tell you right now, none of those videos are longer than 10 minutes. And he shows you exactly, I was gonna say, he shows you exactly what to do, and then you replicate on your end. So the beauty of doing it over 66 days is you wouldn't spend more than 10 minutes on it ever until the very end. So it's an option out there if it speaks to you. But again, being younger and more tech savvy, typically, just naturally, I'm not as worried. You guys could probably take on that undertaking for the weekend and be done with it. But if it made more sense to break it down, that option exists. We also have Pivot Shift Ahead. That's another supplemental resource. You guys are looking for that inspiration from other agents. Pivot Shift Ahead's huge. It's a private Facebook group run by a gentleman named James Shaw. He's based out of Florida and he's huge in KW. What he does is he's a successful agent. He's navigated the 0809 recession. So he's seen the market at one of its worst points and he successfully survived it as an agent. So if you guys have questions and you want to know, I mean, the market's doing some interesting things even now. So if you're wondering, like, okay, what do I want to do? What can I implement? How do I change my script? He's not only sharing tactics for that every single morning from I think it's 8 a.m. to 8:30. He's on there. He's telling you guys suggestions, but he's also highlighting other agents in the network that are having success in Phoenix, maybe. Anybody else out there who might be doing something that's working in their business, another opportunity for you to rip off and duplicate. It's a private Facebook group. If somebody was highlighted on that call talking about their golden letters that they're sending out, you could literally comment on the Facebook group and be like, hey, does anyone have a golden letter script that they're having success with? People will literally drag and drop links. So it's that easy for you guys to get that content and get that opportunity to include in your business. Next is helpful links. Again, just a couple of points here. ALC meeting minutes, guys. If you ever missed an ALC meeting minute where they were talking about changing the cap, which never really happens, but if it was something like a big decision like that you were wondering what the decision was, ALC meeting minutes will highlight any of the decisions that were made and go over anything you may have missed since these are strictly in-person meetings. Prayer request form is more of a talking point than anything, and that's just to emphasize you guys are our family. We mean that from the moment you walk through the doors and the moment you sign your paperwork. We care about you and we do that, I mean, tenfold. If there's ever anything going on in your world, just let us know because we want to be able to support you as effectively as we can. Whether that's giving you a hug in the hall or sending you a card, whatever we can do to be there to be a shoulder to cry on or be someone to lift you up, we're here to do that. And we just want to make sure everything's going well for you. So if there's ever anything you're facing or a family member is going through, please tell us just so we can be here for you. And if you believe in the power of prayer, we're happy to pray on your behalf. And then if you wanted even to amplify that, if you're really big into the power of prayer and you wanted to see the whole freaking market center doing it, we will do that for you. We will tell them at a team meeting and we'll say, hey guys, if you could just be praying for Paige, for example, she's got a lot going on in her world right now. We'll be as specific as you want, or we will not be specific at all. We will happily open it up for you guys so that you have that support. Um, then we also have access to KW perks just below that. Welcome to independent contracting, guys. You don't have insurance through your employers. So if you're wondering how you can get insurance because you're not on your parents or you've got questions about that, maybe you have insurance, but you're looking to see if there's something better out there. KW Perks is a great avenue. I know a lot of us are again very young, so you guys are probably all on your parents' insurance, which is awesome. If you're not, no worries, girlfriend. KW Perks, it allows you to shop marketplace because KW partnered with Capstone Financial. So even if you had insurance, you can see if there's something better out there. I know on average agents are saving doing this. So check it out and just see if there's something available that will help you out. Discounts codes for real estate education. I will click on that just to show you. This will give you access again to the CE Shop website we looked at, but also to the Superior discount codes we have. Superior, we have a 30% off discount all the time. That does not change. The reason that you see that written 3 times here, though, and this is why I pointed out to you, this is a pre-licensing code, this is a post-licensing code, and this is a continuing education code. So depending on what you're looking for yourselves or for someone else to share it with, just make sure you're clicking the right code really is the biggest thing. But mhm, 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 mhm. That I would talk to Teresa more about because that seemed a little bit more foreign to me. I know in the conversation of Keller Cash specifically, like if you guys, usually for Keller Cash to be eligible, all of you guys obviously are recently licensed. If we're the first firm you've ever been with, you guys are eligible for reimbursement for your pre-licensing. All you have to do is screenshot your invoice or your receipt showing this is pre-licensing and here's the cost that was associated. Send it to me. I'll hold it on file for you guys. And then as you have your first few closings, you'll get some reimbursement after that up to the value of basically your pre-licensing. So, but we cap at $500. So if yours was $560, which is very seldom, you would get $500 back, not the $60 extra. But if you spent 270 though, you'd get 270 back. But we'll reimburse you for your pre-licensing. If she was referring more to the post-licensing though, I would touch base with her because I don't want to give you wrong information. It's just something I'm not as familiar with. But yes, to Keller Cash exists, and you guys can absolutely get reimbursed for your pre-licensing. Just send me your receipts. um, we also have KWB firm exclusive listings, guys. If you're looking for those firm exclusive listings because they're not in MLS and you just want to check and see if there's something out there that matches what your client's looking for, you can click on that. It's a live Google Doc. Every time that somebody submits a firm exclusive listing to Sabra, she's updating on that spreadsheet so you guys can access and see more about the property, know who the agent is, and contact them for more information. Strategic vendor partners. You guys click on that, I just show you. This is a spreadsheet, again, live Google document. These are all the vendor partners I was telling you guys about earlier. You can see for builders, I mean, look, we've got 5 different building companies right there with all different reps that you guys can speak with. We've also got different cleaners. We've got all of these individuals organized by their industry with their, bless you, with their direct contacts for those companies. So we've got the company, we've got the contact, here's their information, here's the services they offer, and here's their website. Can't really get any more all-inclusive than that, I think. But this is all here for you guys to reference at any point in time, especially if you maybe missed that Facebook page. This is how you guys can find out everyone in our vendor program and get connected and get your clients those quotes. You'll also notice, for example, fencing, we only have one person listed under fencing. So if you guys notice that we're looking a little sparse in any of these categories, it's not because we hate fencers. It's literally because we actually just don't have enough suggestions of amazing people who do that in the area. So if you guys work with anybody or you know anybody that speaks to you in terms of like, oh my gosh, I worked with them, they're great, loved them, tell us about them. Let us know. You can connect them with Angela Bueno via email. She's our vendor program kind of aficionado. She oversees that program right now. So if at any point in time you guys loved working with somebody that's not on here, it is a win-win for the vendor as well. They do pay to be part of the program, but they have access to 500 agents. That's 500 people they can get in front of. They can step into trainings. They can offer trainings. They're getting a lot out of this deal as well. And we obviously want to make sure that we've got reliable and amazing people on our spreadsheet and in our program. So please let us know who those individuals are. Connect them with Angela. We'll go from there. And she'll do all the legwork for you. You just have to make that connection and she'll tell them all about the program and help them get signed up as well. So no, not currently. We are still waiting on some renewals to come back in from last year, I think. But you'll see that there's some similar. So no, we don't have construction, or sorry, no, we don't have accountant. But if you go down here to, shoot, where is it? I think there's a financial planning section. Yeah, financial planning, retirement planning. So no, we don't have an accountant right now, but we do have financial planners. So there's some stuff that you might see is categorized. It's a similar kind of avenue. So make sure you're just kind of reading through everything because while there might not be something up top here, you may see something lower down, very similar to what you're looking for. You'll also notice that if there are people that do multiple things, like we just had somebody come on board that does HVAC, plumbing, and electric. So they're in 3 different categories. It's the same individual, but 3 different times on the spreadsheet. That way you know what they do and you guys can easily get plugged in with them if they do offer that service. And then the only other things I like to really mention on this here is Think Like a CEO podcast. If you're a podcast listener, Gary Keller and Jay Papazan do their own podcast all about becoming an entrepreneur in real estate, setting your business up for success. They actually have an entire season on just your finances and how to set those up correctly. So check that out if that speaks to you. Again, it's out there if you like it. It's if you don't worry about it. It's absolutely a choice that you guys can make, but it is available to you and a great resource at that. And then lastly is Outfront Magazine. Again, I'm just going to talk about that briefly. Very similar to those hot topics with CE Shop that we looked at, guys. Outfront Magazine is here to help you guys in those moments of crisis where I don't know what to post today on my social media. They actually publish calendars every month where it suggests a post for every single day. So if you guys truly like, were like, yeah, I hate social media. I am young, but I hate social media. You guys could use any of that content ideas and just fill it in anytime you wanted to on your Facebook, on your Instagram, just to keep your profile active, staying in front of people with diverse content that hopefully can get you some new business. So that is that simple. Another resource for some social media help. We also have Facebook right here. If you guys missed that first Facebook page or don't remember where that link was initially, just click that button. It takes you right there. The last thing I like to talk about on this page is I need tech help. I Need Tech Help will take you directly to Jules and Leah's wonderful calendar. For those of you who don't know, Jules and Leah, again, are in-house tech coordinators, but the biggest thing is that they actually used to work with Scott Leroy Marketing. So they know all there is to know, basically. So you are talking to someone equally knowledgeable to Scott Leroy Marketing when you're talking to them. So if you guys wanted to ever book time with them, whether that was to specifically ask certain questions, maybe you guys were looking for specific guidance on a couple things, or maybe you're just asking, hey, what can I start out with? What's the first thing to work on? They're here to help you with any and all of that. Bless you. Gosh, girls, get over it. And then the other thing I would mention with them as well is as you guys are growing your businesses, if eventually you're like, you know what, Liz, social media is killing it. That's how I'm getting so much of my business, but I hate it. It's so much time. It's not for me. Jules and Leah also offer concierge marketing services. So, what that means is that if at any point in time you wanted to leverage some of that and not do it yourself and pay them to do it, you can. They will do stuff like that for you. They will create your marketing pieces, your flyers, your event stuff. They will also go ahead, they will manage your social media. Whatever that looks like, they can do it for you. So, let them know when you're at that point in your business where you're growing and you're done with certain things, they'll take over it for you. So the best thing is, as they always coin it, they can teach you how to do anything with no cost, or you guys can have them do it for you. And then that's obviously a price point that you'll work out together. So you guys have that choice though. You can learn it for free and do it yourself, or you can eventually leverage it and give it to them so that it's no longer taking up time on your plate, which is huge. But it's as simple as literally clicking on any of these blue circles. You can see their time availability for that given day. If you hit next, ask you for your name, your email. You can say if you want to do it here in the office or at our new office. If you want to do it through Zoom, if you're maybe working remotely or it's just a little bit easier, then you can also give them a quick description of exactly what you're going to talk about or what you have questions on so that they can prepare for it. So none of that 30 minutes of time is wasted. So consider booking time with them. They always love meeting our brand new agents. Even if you feel like you have nothing to talk about, they do want to get to know you guys. So please meet with them. They're wonderful. I promise you'll love them. So that is, in short, not really, all of our KWB resources page. There is usually one tiny, tiny last thing I like to show everybody, and I promise you it is quick if you let me take up 5 more minutes of your time, and then I'll let everyone go about their day because I know we went over, and I want you guys to actually enjoy your weekends. So if you guys will let me, before we do jump to another website though for a quick thing, any questions that did not get answered already on this website. And that goes for anybody online as well, Miss Trinity. If you have any questions based off what you saw, I know a lot of this for you is probably a little bit newer because you're still in the midst of onboarding and it will fall into place. But any questions at all in the room? I feel like we're okay. Online, Trinity, if I don't see a chat come through in the next minute, I'm going to assume you're okay. But I'm going to just move to the next website and I'm going to keep my eyes out for a chat from you. So the next website I share with you guys is mykw.kw.com. So mykw, I know, really confusing. Mykw.kw.com. When you click, you'll see it asks you to log right in. Those login credentials are what you guys already created when we met together. Trinity, as of right now, you may not be able to access this website until Scott Leroy's completed everything for you. You do have access to Command, so if you wanted to go to Command and start playing around with that, you can. Ladies in the room, I know you guys both are you're ready to go on this website. So just so you guys have an idea, mykw.kw.com, log in using the credentials we created together that you work for Command. If I could type mine correctly, that would be awesome. Once you've logged into this website, this is what you'll see. Bless you again. Once you've logged in, this is what you see. I'm really just here to talk about one thing. There's plenty more we could talk about, and you're welcome to ask me questions at any point, or Jules and Leah. what we're going to talk about today so you can get to your weekend is under quick links, you'll see my KW MC350 intranet. Click on that. You'll see kind of like this little library of, again, posts similar, maybe kind of that CE shop we looked at. There's a lot of content in here. You can even search for different content if you can't see what you're looking for, but you remember keywords. Um, I'm basically, in short, going to show you guys how you can send an email blast to everyone in our office. So if you want to hit 500 inboxes all at once, I got to. So this is what you're going to do. You'll go to the intranet. This is what you'll open up to. All you guys have to do is hit that add a post button. And then it'll ask you right here to select a category. You'll click the associate post option. And then it lets you select a channel. The channel, unless somebody was filtering in that main library by channel, this doesn't change who can see it for any reason. But you can designate then like what it would categorize as. Agent announcements, obviously the most general. But you can click on that. And then what you can do is you can create a post title up to 100 characters. 100 characters in your post title. You guys can also include a URL, a file, whether it's a JPEG or a PDF. And you guys can do a quick post blurb of 190 characters, but if you guys haven't noticed, that's not a lot of content. That's pretty limited. The big thing with that, what I like to highlight is the post title. When you guys send this email, basically, post title is going to be the subject line of your email. The post blurb is the body of your email. But if that's not enough space, it's hardly ever is for me. You guys can hit this add full message button just below and then type freely as much additional content as you need. The biggest thing I can suggest to you based off my own experiences with this is if you added additional content, somehow give yourself enough room at the end of your post blurb to say something to the effect of like see full post. Something to indicate that there's more available and that's not all you had to share. So people know, oh, I need to click to view more if I have questions or need to reach out to them. So make sure it just says see full post because when this email comes through, they've got their subject line in the post title, they've got their body email from that blurb. There's going to be a big blue button that right underneath that literally says view full message. So if they click on that, that allows them to see everything else you shared. So that's really the big thing. But all of that to be said, once you've drafted everything, you're happy with all the content you're sharing, you guys can then just go ahead and hit the publish post button and it blasts out to everybody slowly but surely over the next couple minutes, goes to everybody's inbox, including my own. So you guys may not see a copy of this come back to your own email. So if you're ever wondering, hey, did that work? Feel free to send me an email. I'm happy to check and see if I got it in my inbox and tell you like, yep, you're good. Everything went through correctly. But let me know. This is just a great opportunity for you guys to share. Maybe you're hosting an open house. Maybe or maybe you've got a new listing going live that you want people to know about. Maybe you're inviting people to a broker open or anything of that sort. You got buyers who are like, I have to unload all this furniture. I can't move with this. Like, anything of that sort, it's always good to have another avenue of communication and to get to everybody at once is so helpful. The reason I really, really like to share this too is Facebook is a great platform and one of our best and most prominent for communications between our agents. But with social media, if something doesn't get enough interaction on it, can drop down further and further on the feed. So there's a chance that maybe you did post something and maybe not enough people liked it or not enough people commented on it. So it kind of fell and fell and fell. And then I jumped in there and I posted like 4 trainings and it just fell and fell again. So in the event that I'm ruining your ability to be seen, I apologize. But this is just, again, just a great opportunity for you guys to get something that you know is going to reach everybody. We also have some people that just maybe don't use Facebook. I mean, that's still a thing. Crazy, but still a thing. So in the event that you guys want to guarantee it goes to every single person in this office, that is the best way to do it. Very easy and quick for you. And it will then live in that library we opened up to as well. So people can see that up until eventually it just gets booted because there's that much additional content. But this is how to do an email blast. Does anybody feel like they have questions about that part of the process? Yep, that's exactly how they're coming through. So if you see like an agent like office message from Josh Kelly about this open house, and you're like, why are they reaching out to me? The other thing I would note with that, just because you brought it up, is when you see, especially as we get close to June, ladies, Sabra will post a lot of times like email blasts about the deadlines more so than anything. She doesn't want anyone to miss a deadline and have their license go inactive or expired or anything like that. So she will send a ton of stuff through the internet. Usually it will come across as an office message. In the event that it doesn't, please do not feel like she's singling you out and targeting you. It's usually going to just everybody as a blanket statement. If you specifically needed to do something and you didn't do it, she will eventually be reaching out just to you. But for the most part, you'll see a lot of those are going to just be generalized announcements so everyone can be on the same page. So I've had that. I feel like, especially with new agents, people will be like, why is Saber yelling at me? I'm like, one, she's never yelling. First and foremost, she's very, very nice. And two, I'm always like, oh no, like I promise that's not directed just at you. Like you're okay. So that all covers everything. So that is in short everything we usually talk about in KWB Keys to Success. And the reason we do that is because, again, that was probably a lot more than you knew existed on that one website. And I hope that's how you feel, because that's exactly what I intend to do, is show you everything available to you as an agent in our office, because there's so much value to just being with us. So I wanted you guys to see where all of that was, and more than anything, so that you guys know what's available to help you guys succeed whenever you need it. But if you guys do have any questions, I know even in an hour and a half, that probably felt so fast and like a lot. And I get it. And I talk fast too, and I don't help either. So, in the event that I just overwhelmed anybody, even a little bit, my biggest suggestions for you guys: when you get home, breathe first, breathe. Then, at your leisure in the next few days, maybe next week, go back on the website, see if you can follow through everything we did, find everything we just went through. If you realize you're missing any steps or can't remember how to do it, there's two options. You can email me or call me on the phone. I'll give you all the information you need. Or you guys can reference that YouTube channel and you can go back through and re-watch a prior recording, even of this particular class, and see what we went over so you know exactly where to find things. And the great thing about YouTube is if you think I talk fast, you can slow me down on YouTube, which is awesome. So there's plenty of avenues there, ladies, but the biggest thing is, obviously, again, you guys are our family. We are here to support you guys, and we are happy to see you succeed and do anything we can to help along with that process. So let us know what we can do to support you best. We're excited to have you on board, and I appreciate all of your time today. I'm not going to keep you any longer. I want y'all to get home. I want you to enjoy your weekends, especially before it maybe starts raining. So I'm going to dismiss everybody. Enjoy the rest of your days. Enjoy your weekend. And please let me know if there's anything else I can do for you.